as to why I was giving them such words of encouragement or compliment, because you just don't hear people doing that. Am I right about that? Do you guys agree? Did you ever feel weird? Do you still feel weird when someone says nice things over you? When it happens, it's actually quite a shock when someone says something to you that's really kind, right? Your whole day stops. You're like, wow, what just happened? Why did you say that? Like, that is so weird, right? It's because it's so rare. I mean, when someone stops you, they might compliment your clothes or something like that, but when someone actually compliments and says something really kind about you and your spirit that really touches your soul, you notice. You notice, because it doesn't happen every day. It just goes to show you how starved we are for that kind of validation, for that kind of respect, for that kind of encouragement. Because all through school and really at home, I mean, you can think of the things you remember. What do you remember about your parents? I'm sure you remember feeling very warm and secure and loved, yes, but on a day-to-day basis, I'm sure you remember being told to do what to do a lot, and that maybe you weren't doing it right, and that you needed to do it a little bit better, a little bit differently, right? And all well-intentioned. I mean, obviously your parents are trying to teach you to be the best that you can be. But I have learned so much about this over the past few years. This business has given me such an opportunity to learn things that I think I had heard so many times before. You know, you hear when you go to church or wherever that you should speak life over people, that you should edify people, that you should compliment people. And you hear all that and you think, yeah, I'm really good at that. Or yes. But you don't know how to do it. Do you know what I'm saying? Like these words, this vocabulary of encouragement is not something we hear every day. We actually hear the opposite. We're very well versed in being discouraging, unfortunately, than we are at being encouraging. So it's really important to understand what edification truly means and to understand why it's so hard for us to do it and why it's so rare, and to understand that it's so important to master it and to work on it every day, because it's going to make you stand out, because it's so rare. And anything we can do in our lives to stand out and be unique is going to impact not only your business, but it's going to impact your marriage. It's going to impact how you are with your children, how you are with your parents, how you are with everybody you meet, that it's going to literally make it so that you don't have to be chasing people down to get them to understand the value of our products. Because I know that each one of you is here because I was the same way. I didn't want to do this as a business. All I know is that everybody needed to have purification and lemon in their diffuser. Everybody needed to have peppermint on their head. Everybody needed to have thieves during the winter season. Everybody needs to know about black spruce on their chest. Everybody needs valor. How do we best get these products into people's hands while feeling authentically you, not salesy, and while honoring people? That's what I know that all of you watching are here for today, because that is where the rubber meets the road. Because we're not just here to sell kits. We are here to truly change people's lives. And this is the skill. And this is why I'm starting this conference with this topic, because everything you're going to learn in the next 2 days is going to be made much easier and much more successful if you listen to the next few minutes and really understand the impact of edification. So what is edification? We hear that word a lot. It's not merely a compliment. It is so much more. It is building someone up. It is actually treating them as you believe they are and helping them to become it. It is literally seeing them as they ought to be and what they could be. And by using those words, you are actually helping them to become it. Because that is what they need to hear to believe in themselves. And so when you speak life over someone, it's not just merely just for show. It truly is speaking to their soul and their innermost desires of what they are here for. And it is showing them the way to get there. So how has this helped me in my business? In immeasurable ways. This is something that helps with every single thing that I do. And we would not be sitting here with so many of my leaders here in one place if I didn't know how to do this really well. But I can tell you right now, this is not something I knew how to do before. And it's not easy for me. And the reason I speak on it so often is to give myself a reminder to do it, because I often forget and I make huge mistakes all the time. So while you might think, oh, well, Lindsay's so great at that. I mean, to master your speech, to master your mouth, we all know that is far from easy, right? I mean, you hear all the time, if you don't have something nice to say, then don't say it at all. But how often do we just let these words fly out of our mouth? And I hear the story all the time of someone who said something horrible about someone and went and asked this rabbi, what do I do to take it back? And I just feel so bad. What can I do? And he said, well, I want you to go and take a pillow and rip it open and scatter the feathers from the pillow to the wind. So he went and did that. And then he came back and he said, okay, now what do I do? And he said, I want you to go gather up all the feathers. Not going to happen, right? So what you put out there, your words matter. And you cannot take them back. And so every time you're going to go and say something, think about that. In Judaism, words, saying, evil speech, unkind words is actually akin to murder. I know that's a really strong statement, but I didn't say it. It's right in there. It is really important to master your speech. So, where do I use this in my business? And where do I use it in my life? And what am I going to ask you to do every day to practice? Okay, so let's say you're having some people over for an event, and people start showing up, and you're really nervous about the event, and you're thinking about the actual part where you have to sit down and present, right? That's what's in your head the whole time. Am I right? Raise your hand if that's what you're thinking about. You're like, oh, I have to talk, and I don't know what to say, right? That's what you're thinking about. But let me give you a way that you can literally make the event flow so much more easily if you just do this one thing. When people walk in, edify them, each and every single person, and actually spend 10 or 15 minutes introducing people to everyone, finding out who invited them. And once you find out, oh, Susanna invited me to this class, you say, oh, I love her. That is so amazing that she sent you here. And she is such a light. She's amazing. She's a firecracker. You're going to learn so much from her. How do you know her? They tell you, oh my goodness, that's so great that you met her at that hair salon or wherever, and that you decided to trust her enough to come here. Well, I can tell you that she's an amazing friend to have, and you should continue to build that friendship with her. And on and on and on, okay? So for 10 or 15 minutes, that's what you're doing. And then, guess what? Everyone feels so good to be there that I don't even think that they could hear anything what you would say in your presentation. You could actually give a presentation on, Disney princesses and, your trip to Montana, and they would be like, sign me up. I'm not kidding. This totally changed my events. The other thing is I could have gotten up here this morning and just started, right? But we were standing over there getting mic'd up, and I said, who's going to introduce me? Because that's important too. And if you are hosting an event, even if there's just 3 people there or 1 person there, I don't care how many people are there, it's important to have somebody introduce you, because you need, and the people there need, to see who you are. And it changes the entire tone of the presentation when someone else introduces you and edifies you. And I know it can seem weird to say, hey, Susanna, come over here. Okay, you're going to introduce me. But she knows. I've done it before many, many times. But it's important. And it resets the tone of the conversation. It resets the tone of the event, and it changes how people listen, because what you can say is, again, you're speaking life over where you want people to be and where you want them to, how you want them to behave in your event. So you're saying things like great things about the person, but you're also saying, hey, get out your pen and paper, remove all distractions, put down your phones. Put your phones on airplane mode, because this is important. What you are about to learn is going to change your life. And I don't say that with any kind of like hyperbole. Like, you honestly, what you're going to learn is going to be really important to you. And you're going to get so many tips that you're going to want to write them down, each and every one of them, and you're going to want to study them and understand them. And you're probably not going to remember most of what you hear today, but that's okay, because we do this all the time, and you can come back and take notes again. And if you hear something that is relevant to someone you know and is going to help somebody else you know, guess what? You can bring them back and they can learn it too. So keep that in mind while you're sitting here, because these oils are going to impact you. And this individual that's about to get up, Stephanie, and present to you, while she's pretty new to this, she has had so many great testimonials already. She has learned so much already, and we want to take you on a journey with us to learn even more. And the more people that come to these events, the more we learn, because everybody has different stories. And it's the power of our community that we can learn more and do more with what we learn about these oils and supplements and everything every day. So it's really important that you pay attention. Have any of you ever done that in a class? You're telling people what you want them to do. You're not saying, you, take out your pen, take some notes, right? You are speaking life over where you want them to go. And you're painting a picture for the culture of your team. And you're showing them that they can trust you to support them through this journey, because you're saying that you're going to be here for the long haul, and that you're going to learn together, and that you really care about them and what they can do to help, with their wellness. So it's really impactful to do that in a class. The third way that you can use edification is when you meet someone new. So we're going to do a little exercise right now. I want you to put your pen down, and I want you to get a partner, look at the person next to you,